Hi guys, trust we are doing good. Welcome back to another scene for this particular animation. So in my previous video, I talked about my mood board and references, but I wasn't able to show, how it looked like. And so I had to bring in my Pinterest. Let me show you some of the, it's just basically, I will share the link to this Pinterest. It's actually private. I will share it in the probably in the comments to see some of the videos I put together before I went ahead to. I think they are just about 19, and that's all about it. And that was where I picked some of the things I want to show in my scene. As when you get there, you see what I'm talking about. So yes, I felt like I didn't talk much about that one. So this is the second scene. The scene came to be from, let me play video. I will mute it. So this is the first scene, then this is the second scene. So this is actually the scene we want to talk about now. It doesn't have much. So this scene is just basically the camera animation, then the products kind of like rotating and some mini animations happening. So the first thing I did was to parent, my full glasses, the full product, was to parent the full product to this particular, what's it called, this empty right over here. So that was the first thing I did. And this empty, with this empty, I can control, I can move it about, I can have full control of whatever I want to do. Then probably add some animations to the other parts of the product itself. So what happened here is this is just rotating. You will see that it's coming from the first question is 180-degree and rotating back to zero. So that's just basically it. But I did it in such a way that I pushed out the first keyframe. I want the animation to feel like it's already in motion before the camera cuts in. So, and that's one of the key takeaway from my for my animation. I don't let the animation start from the first keyframe. Like I move it out of the scene from where my the animation actually start, the one you see on the screen. So it's kind of like give it a sense of, oh, it's already moving. And when you cut it, you will see that it doesn't fall off. There's no kind of like, it doesn't fall out, in that view. And yes, so this has a bit of rotation. Then you can see my graph editor. I it's starting like it's already moving, then it gradually slows down. So that's the feel I wanted for this. And why that is happening also, we have the camera doing its work also. The camera is coming from this location on the y-axis to the next location, which is here, whereby it clearly, let me shift this, it clearly shows the entire frame as a whole, entire product. So that's what we have here. And it's just basically it from Y. And I have this my, what's it called, this my graph editor. I work mostly with graph editor. Instead of adding multiple keyframes, I just add two keyframes, then use my graph editor to do whatever magic I want to do. So it's in rare cases that you see me adding a lot of keyframes to in product animations like this. So yeah, so I have it like the camera is starting out slow, then at a point it just moves out. You see, moves out, then gradually slows down. So that's the point that it moves out is this point here where you have this kind of like sharp straight line, almost straight, and that's what gives that kind of feel like it move out speedy one, then it slows down. So that was what I did here. And another takeaway from this is that the last part, the the product looks like it's moving out of frame, but what is actually happening is the camera actually rotating on the z-axis, and it gives you a kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like it looks much more fluidy to when you move the camera out of the frame. For me, I don't know for any other person. So that's what I did. And if you notice, you see that before this one, this particular, when the camera is moving and before it ended, this one already started. That's another way I do my animation. I don't let one animation finish before the other one starts. Okay, it can give you the illusion of that it has ended, because if you look at it, you see that at this point it looks like it's not moving, you know, when you are looking at it from the camera, but it's actually moving, but it slows down. And then this one starts and it picks up. So that's one of my trick for having this kind of like smooth transitions from, not really an obvious an obvious difference, but you might not be able to pick it up, but it feels good to your eyes when you see it. And that's what happened in this animation. The texturing for this is just same texture, you know, for the previous one. But here we are not, we are not using what's it called? We are only using the black plastic, which is just simple plastic with bump map, and the bump is just a nice texture. And this is all we have there as a black plastic. So let me go to, let me go to my rendered view. I think my mouse is kind of like not working as I wished. Okay, don't know why. But yeah, so this is how you see, it's just basically the black plastic. Then we also have the frame. It's just a a simple glass with just roughness. You see, roughness turned down. Yes, we have this just the roughness at 0.05, and we have a full transmission, and the coat weight is also full. So that's just it. The reason for the coat weight is to give me this reflection. So I like this reflection, to kind of like prove that it's a glass material, and without it, it's not as shiny as I wanted it to be. So then the full coat weight gives me what I actually wanted. And yes, that's that. As for the lighting is fairly, I would say the lighting is fairly simple. You see, so I want to show you something, but anyway, I don't think I have time. So the lighting, you see, the lighting, we have the top light, which is more like the field light. We have the one coming from the left here and one coming from the right here. I don't know if I mentioned, most of my lighting for products are always, influenced by 3 point lighting. Then I begin to tweak it, move around to kind of like find the best effect that works. So we have the what's it called? The rim lights that actually adds some rims to our product. You can see this one here. And yeah, so most times I use the rim light to paint light on my product to kind of like give it what is lacking. After it looks okay, it looks good, then I think something is missing. Then I begin to, to use rim light to paint light to where I want it to be seen. And then I of course render it out. So this is that about this. I just render it out, transparent BG, same settings, and all of that. So let us go to the, we are just using the plastic material, so nothing much. And you see this camera here, I will still get there. I think the next scene after this, that's where I will explain what I did to this camera and how I got this view. So yeah, so I'm still using my plastic material, just basic plastic. And that's what I did for this scene. So let's go ahead and open for the next scene, which is the, all right. So I think this should be the next scene from 1 to 120. Yeah. So this is the next scene to see it. So it's just basically the camera doing a lot of work. Like this. And I forgot to mention in that one that I was using, an HDRI also for my lighting. So majority of this thing is I save incrementally. Like after I finish a particular scene, I save incrementally. Then I continue from there. I might delete some things, adjust the animation, but it's easier for me to, use the lighting that I've been using previously and just continue from there and without starting afresh again when the lighting is working. When you already have a working lighting. So I've already done the lighting to see if it works even before animating them. So it kind of like give me an edge instead of redoing lighting again. So before going ahead to animate it, I'll just do the lighting and just go ahead with other things that I want to do. Then I know that lighting will not be my issue again. Although I might need to correct it at some point, But that's just some of the things that I do. So here we see that the handle is being animated and it's coming out. So it's kind of like complementing the movement of the camera. This is the camera. This is the camera. It's complementing the movement. The camera is having this rotation and it's also moving back. It's close here, moving back and rotating at the same time. So it gives that feeling, a very good feeling. Then having everything should not be static. Then having this handle, moving along with it, it's kind of like creates this sense of motion, not a static mesh. If it was just the camera moving, it's might have this, it will work, but it won't work as much as possible because it will not, that sense of motion will not be there. You feel like you are seeing a static object. Yes, it's static, but just have to make it look good. For the lighting, I think that's the next thing. For the lighting, you see that I was still using some of the lighting that was in that scene. So instead of me relighting everything that I've done, I just go ahead to make use of previous lighting, and it actually works well. So just by turning them off, on, and you see that you have a very good what's it called? A very good lighting to work with. So it depends. So it depends on the final lighting that I'm using for the mesh, and those are things that actually are very important. So yeah, so I'll talk about this in the next scene, the glass and the lens, because I have to be a bit detailed on that. So yeah, so that will be all. Our texture is just basically the plastic texture that I showed at the beginning, nothing much, and that's how the scene is like. Then I rendered it out, and I have this, what's it called, HDRI. I'm using easy HDRI and with a tint of purple. You understand why I'm using these tints when I had the background. I want it to reflect what is at the background, not just this white, so that it will not look off. It has to blend with the gradients because I'll be using a gradient. It has to blend with the gradient or stand out from the gradient in the background. And at the same time, still feels like the purple or the blue of this, the purple, the pink and purple is actually reflecting on the glasses. It's more of like a trick because I'll be adding the gradient in a different software and not in Blender here. So yeah, so that's what I actually did there. And yeah, so that's basically it for this particular one. So if you are enjoying this series, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can share also. And you can follow me on every of my social media. Thank you very much, and I will say bye for now.